Hey guys, it's Geo here, and I'm here to give you guys some tips that I could have really used when I was in Bronze Elo, back in Season 4.
The
I was
enemies
in
of
Bronze for
Demacia
most of the
will
time, and it
fall.
really sucked because I didn't really know how to climb. Everybody would give me
Welcome
not
to
really
Summoner's
specific
Rift.
details on like what you need to do to like win games and just climb from your Elo, and I could have really
I
used these tips,
go.
so I'm here to tell you guys what you should do to climb Elo. Alright, for step 1, don't care. By that I mean, if you're mid lane and your top lane's feeding, you never just want to say, oh, top lane's feeding, GG, forfeit at
Minions
20.
have
You
spawned.
never want to
On
do that,
wings
alright?
of fury.
You just don't care if your top lane's feeding, you don't care if your jungler sucks, you don't care if your bot lane's feeding, you don't care about anything. All you care about is yourself. And that goes on to step 2. Step 2
I
is
smell fear.
focus on yourself and only on yourself. This is what life and League is all about. It's all about learning from your own mistakes and not
Suffer
really
my
caring
fury.
about others' mistakes. But you can correct them if you want, but just try to focus on your mistakes mostly. And that goes on to step 3 as well. For step 3 is do not flame. Ever. And I mean ever. Do not touch your keyboard if you're mad, okay? I mean, you can play, but do not scream at your teammates. Do not flame them. Do not type anything. Do not type,
Nothing
oh,
like
you need to
me.
do this better. No. Don't do anything, okay? Because yelling at your teammates does not make them play better. Trust me. It'll lower their self-esteem and it'll just make them play worse actually. And it's happened to everyone, someone yells at you and you just don't want to play the game anymore. It's kind of like that. And it's just really bad. And after a game, you lose. This goes to step 4 as well. Step 4 is also you need to take breaks. And what I mean is that by this is don't play 2 games or more in a row. And this is just for your own benefit of just relaxing, chilling back, getting your mind refreshed. Because you do not, you might get tired of playing games with your sucky teammates or whatever you're dealing with. And it'll just make it confusing for you to play even more. So I would suggest you take like 20 to 30 minute breaks between every single game. And this will really help you. Trust me, it really helped me because I got to diamond myself using these tips, and it really did help with the breaks actually because I took 30-minute to 1 hour breaks just walking around my neighborhood, from league games. Each league game, just take a break in between, and trust me, it helps. Just do it, and trust me, you'll be climbing like crazy if you do it. I mean,
Blood of my
you might be in a elo where you belong. Like, don't get me wrong, you might be like you might think you're amazing, but on like game wise while you're playing, you might not be the best. So you might just belong in your division and you just need to get better through practice, and that just takes games over games. But applying these steps or tips to your gameplay is gonna really benefit you.
the
And
enemies
for
of
step 5,
Demacia
it
will
has
fall.
more to do with the game. While you're playing, do not take risks. Risks. Alright. When you're behind, you generally need to take more risks just to get ahead. But when you're ahead, you never really need to take risks because you're not the one needing to take them. The enemy team that's behind needs to take them. You get what I'm saying? You probably do. So I'm just gonna move on to step 6 here. Sorry, I'm kind of sick, but that's fine. Alright, step 6. Do not AFK farm. And by that, I mean help your team, please. Do not just... So if you're top lane and you're 20-0 and your bot lane 0-10, like combined deaths, don't just
Smell
farm.
fear.
If you have TP help them. If you just killed your lane opponent and you're ahead on farm and stuff, go bot lane and kill their enemy bot lane just
On wings
for the
of
sake of helping your
fury.
team, because your team will enjoy that leadership of you like carrying them. And and you'll pick up a couple drags or something. And this could work if you're bot lane, you know, if you're a support and you got your EDC fed, and you know, let's say Caitlyn, you got your Caitlyn fed and you're Thresh, and there's nothing really to do bot lane, you know, the enemy team is farming, and you guys are really ahead, then just go by yourself and try to help the enemy your top laner. If your top laner isn't doing that hot, and if your mid laner is not doing that hot, you know, help him. If your jungler is getting invaded, help him, you know. And this goes, you should never just sit in lane and farm, because you're letting the enemy team get ahead by letting them get more kills when you could stop them from getting kills. Now what I mean by that is, instead of you just sitting there and farming and wasting your lead, get a bigger lead by helping your team. And I guess you guys know what I mean here. So I'm just gonna move on to step 7. And step 7 is never ever ever surrender. It's ranked. 2 words, it's ranked. You never ever ever want to surrender, because anything can happen in ranked actually. Like, oh, the enemy team might have an AFK or something, and you guys are really close though, but they have like 3 towers and 2 nexuses in your base. And so anything could really happen, and there's always a way to win. Trust me, there's always a way to win. I've seen games where we were behind like 20k gold, and then we have this like really good team fight comp though. So we go in, we kill them all, and then we just end the game just how late it is. And there's just always, and the enemy team will always throw. Just keep that in mind. They will always throw. They'll either be out of position, or they're gonna make a really stupid move where they go in 1v5 or something, and you can just pick them off. And if they're grouping, it's less likely that they'll throw, but try to pick someone off, you know? And no matter how behind you are, just find opportunities. There's always opportunities. Alright, going on to step 8. Find good fights. By good fights, I mean don't fight 4v4s, because it's 1 out of 2 chances that you will lose the fight, and you don't want to take that. You want to have a 100% chance that you win the fight. You want to be the 100%. You don't want to be the 50% chance you'll win the fight. No, you want to be the 100%. So try to find uneven fights. Let's say the enemy team has 4 people mid and you have 3 people mid. Do not fight it. Do not fight it. Just trust me. Maybe if you get a good engage on them, you know, and kill 1 person immediately, yeah, you can go in on that. But do not fight 3v4s. Do not fight 4v5s. If you guys are 4 people and they're 5, do not fight that. And if you guys, going back on the opposite, if you guys are 5 people and they have only 4 people, and one of the enemy team's players died, and it's a 5v4, you guys have 5 people, they have 4, then you could go in on that. You know, you'll most likely win if you're not that behind, but you know, if you're even, yes, you will definitely win that. And fight when you're stronger. Just fight when you're stronger. If the enemy team mid laner, alright, let's say you're ganking and you're a Rek'Sai and you have an Ezreal mid with Smite, because it's like the new meta thing, and they have an enemy Victor, and the enemy Victor is and they also have an Amumu jungle that's but they're higher health than you. Go in on that, because they can't really do anything with their auto attacks really, and Amumu is really, you know, you just have to look at all the paths that you could take. You know, Amumu is really reliant on mana, and Victor is too, because they're both AP champions. So just go on that, even if like they're full health and you're half health, go in on that. And yeah, just fight when you're stronger, but never tower dive, please. Never tower dive, because tower diving just means throws, and you do not want to have throws. Okay, moving on to step 9. You never really want to care if you win or lose. Don't care if you win or lose. This way, you will be less stressed and play better, to the fact that you'll be under less pressure. So you're just playing, you know, having fun, you know. You don't really care if you win or lose. You know, you're just having fun. So, and just improve yourself. And this way you'll just do better. Like, it's just a matter of reasoning. If you're not stressed about you winning, oh no, dude, we have to win this game, bro. Oh my gosh. And then you're like, your head is like in the, not in the clouds, but really into the game. I mean, you always should be in the game, but you know, your mind's somewhere else. Like, what if I lose? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose this LP. Don't think about that. Do not think about what you're gonna lose or what you're gonna gain. Do not think about that. Do not care. Okay? Do not care. And going on to step 10, learn your role. Now you could pick 2 roles and 2 champions for those 2 roles. Now that's like the best thing you could do. And I suggest you have one main role and a secondary role. I suggest that the secondary role be a support or top lane, because I think those are the least popular, or maybe jungle, because you know, jungling in season 5 is kind of hard. It might get harder later, but you know. And this way, if you don't get your main role, you can always try to get your secondary role, because support's really easy to get, and sometimes top is, but there's a lot of top lane mains. And I suggest that you just like take a carry role. And by carry role, I mean, don't you go top. I mean, you can go top if you enjoy it and you know how to win top lane, but most likely, the carries of the game who are going to influence the game the most are going to be from ADC, jungle, or mid. Now, jungle, you can gank for your team, you know, help them get a really good lead, and you could just snowball the game off that. Mid lane, you can get a lot of farm and just, you know, like zone the enemy mid laner from doing anything. Because, you know, like the mid laner is a giant impact, has a giant impact on the game. If you kill the mid laner immediately, you know, that's like, you know, one of their carries are down, you know? They can't really fight without their mid laner. In ADC, now you have to be a really good ADC. You cannot just... You have to be really good at CSing, you have to be really good at poking, you have to be really good at lane control, and those are the 3 main things. You have to be really good at fighting as well. And if you're good at that, you can ADC and you can carry your team pretty easily with ADC, because you know you have the supplies to carry your team. I'm sorry about that. Okay. As I said, I'm sick. Alright guys. Now this will be it for the 10 tips on how to carry solo queue. And if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, and have a nice day.